The federal opposition leader wants to turn asylum seeker boats back to Indonesia when it's safe to do so, but he's admitted it could be dangerous work for defence personnel. The Prime Minister's criticised Tony Abbott's border protection stance and labelled him a coward. It comes as a boat with 28 asylum seekers on board arrived at the Cocos Islands.
Tony Abbott's solution to stop the boats is under scrutiny.
Good on you, mate. Good stuff.
He's conceded turning them around and forcing them back to Indonesia could be dangerous for the Navy.
Yes, it's dangerous work, but that's why people join our armed forces. They go into harm's way to help our country.
The coalition won't agree to the government's Malaysia solution because the country hasn't signed the Refugee Convention. Neither has Indonesia. Mr Abbott says that's different.
They put themselves in.
It's their fault.
Well, they put themselves in Indonesia. They didn't put themselves in Malaysia.
Mr Abbott says Indonesia knows about his plan to turn boats around, but is refusing to say if he discussed the issue with the Indonesian president when they met in Darwin last week.
I accept that from time to time, Australia will do things that the Indonesians don't particularly like.
The Prime Minister says that's a no.
He was too much of a coward to raise with the President of Indonesia his so-called plan to turn back boats.
The opposition leader has also indicated there'll be no coalition members taking part in a multi-party committee that's working to resolve the impasse.
He should have the decency to put the national interests first, particularly when he can't explain to the Australian people what his policy is.
There's not just tension between the government and the opposition. Labor's New South Wales State Secretary Sam Dastyari has taken a swipe at the Greens. He says they're not open to compromise and has labelled their policies extreme. He says Labor should consider preferencing them last.
Questions of preferences are for the organisational wing of the party.
If the faceless men in the Labor Party in New South Wales want to tear down the Gillard government, then they should explain that to Labor members around the country.
Senator Milne says the Greens will continue to give the government supply and confidence in the parliament. Karen Binney, ABC News, Canberra.